And somebody tag others in the group, they should join the class and all. Anyway, so to be designing an homepage, a simple homepage for an home button screen and probably one homepage. Yeah. So when I'm designing, me personally, when I'm designing my mobile apps, I always like to, what's the word? Let my frame represent the typical mobile app that I'm working on, right? So I want to get this. On Figma community, sometimes you can search and find these things there automatically. But in a situation where you can't find it, you can easily create yours from scratch. And the reason I'm creating mine right now is because I prefer to create my own stuff. So right now I'm trying to just create this element. Majority of the time you will find them in Figma community and you can easily just use them there. Okay. Let me just. This is supposed to be black, 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 black. Okay, I'm trying to depict the typical icon camera stuff. Let me make the thing.
But can't we go and pick an icon for camera?
No, I'm not doing an icon for camera. I'm trying to recreate this. This is an image when I dragged it from the asset. But I don't want an image. I want what's the word? I want, yeah. I want something I can edit anytime I want. There's no crime in using the image as well. It's just that, again, preference. Like I said, just preference. So, coming to the main thing here, I'm using an iPhone frame. Things that are consistent on mobile phone is this head banner is always there. So I'm bringing in the head banner. Let me replace this back to original background color. So I will be selecting my background to be white, and this header I would put it here because on all mobile phone designs, there's always this there. Let me detach this. Can I detach? Um, okay, this is funny. I was thinking this was. Oh, interesting. Okay, I get it just now. Let me just detach it. I selected it from the asset that was brought in on, yeah. Okay, so I have that there. This is also supposed to come in between. Okay. Dynamic Island. Yeah. We let me just put it all. Okay. So I believe my header is set. Now this bottom shape too is supposed to come at the bottom, because typically on an iPhone this is always there. So majority of the time I don't create this from scratch because I already have existing design that I've used it. I just gonna copy from there and put. But because I'm designing first time with you guys, I just wanted to show you how I set my frame from scratch, right? So now that okay, I have my frame elements that I would be using, right? The things I'll be needing, because I'm designing onboarding here. So I'll be needing a button, and I think earlier on in this style guide, I think I created a button here. Yes, I created button here. So I am going to pick this button, and I would take it to this page. Although before I take it to the page, since I'm changing my color to green, I want to change my color to green because of this. But I need to be able to determine which shade of green. I think I want to pick this shade. So I will just pick my shade of color. I will come here. Oh, I already have green in my variable. So I'll just go to my variable and I'll come to my primary and I'll switch it to the green family. So you see the way the switch is easy to switch because I've already created everything down. So regardless of anything, I will not be affected. I'll just leave this dark mode to be in purple. I'm not changing anything there. This secondary, let me switch this back. I think it was yellow, so let's leave the yellow as secondary color. So I'm coming back here now, and I know I used yellow here, so I'm changing my color back to my green. And my text color will be like, okay, that is done. I'm going back to my style guide. So for this style guide, I'm changing my color back green, green, green. Okay, but the text color is missing. Right. All right. So we have our button set. Now I can copy this button and I'll back here. See the way I easily change stuffs back because I've set them. So I need my button. So I have my button here with me. Another thing I would be needing for my design for what I want to do in this onboarding would be my grill. So before you start designing, when you're creating your style guide, you're supposed to create your grid. So you have mobile grid and you have web grid. And since we are designing for mobile, I'll be creating a mobile grid. And to create a mobile grid, you come to layout guide, you click plus. You see that it will have created this whole grid, showing you the tiny boxes that is existing. Then you come here where you have grid, you change it to columns. When you change to columns, you see that the column will change to bigger. Now, because I'm not a fan of red, it affects my eye. I always change it to a color that I prefer, like the blue. The blue is calming; it's not affecting my eye. I leave it at this blue. Then I change the number of columns to 4 because I'm working on web and I like my stuff to be divisible by 4, 2, stuff like that. Now my margin, that's my margin will be left and right margin. Because I'm working on mobile, I want a margin of 24. So I mean nothing will go beyond these two here. And in between, this is the gutter. The space between this column and this column is called a gutter. Again, because I'm dealing with a spacing system, so I chose 24 for that. So I'm picking 24 here. And here also, I'm picking 16 because I want my gutter to be 16. So I have created my grid for my mobile. Now, for this to become a style, so that I'll be able to use it anytime I want to use, I'll come here, this for that says apply style. Because I've not created any style for grid, then I'll now click this plus. So it converts this grid I've created into a style. So I'll now name it mobile grid. Just for learning purposes, if it is a web grid I want to create, let me select a web screen. So you see I can create a web grid. I'm selecting desktop. Now, for this web page, I want to create a grid for it. When I come here, you see if I click plus, you see that mobile one is here. But I can't use the mobile grid setting I did. I can't use it for its web grid settings, right? So I'll click a plus here. So a new one will be created and I'll change it to column. When I change to column again, I would change my color here. Blue. Now for mobile, for web, I always use 12 grid. And for my margin, depending on what I'm working on, if I'm working on websites, for websites, I usually use between 100 to 80 as my padding, as my margin. But if I'm working on a web app, I will use 48, 50 sometimes. So let's assume this is for a website. So I want my margin to be 80. Now, because it's web, I need to do the gutter as well. So for this, I think we have 80 somewhere here. Yeah, 80. The gutter, I want the gutter to be 32. So now, then after I've done this, I'll come here again, I'll click plus, and I'll name it web grid. So that way, I have my web and mobile grid set, right? So to hide my grid, I will just do Shift G on my keyboard. See that the grid has hidden. But the point of grid is to, so let's say I want to add the grid to a new frame. I click this frame to add the grid. I just come to this layout and then I'll click on mobile grid. What happened? Didn't this grid save? Oh, my grid did not save. Okay. So yeah, this is mobile. I can come here again. When I come here, you can see the web grid is there, mobile grid is here. Since this is mobile, I select mobile grid. You cannot use web grid on a mobile because it will be weird. Look at, for example, if I click on web, you can see that it won't show because the frame is not large enough. So I go back to my mobile, right? When I click on this as well, I click on my mobile grid and I'm set. Now these elements that I selected here, I'll do Ctrl C and then I'll select this other one and Ctrl V them. So they all have these general elements that is meant for also. Now again, I mentioned that I like my frames to represent the mobile, the design I'm doing. So I'm going to select the and I would be giving them a string because I want to have a mobile phone effect. So I would give it a stroke. Okay, let me not select strokes from. I'm intentionally not selected from this, and I will give it like a 10. Okay, 8 is enough. Yeah, I have 8. Now I'm giving it a radius corner of 32. Yeah. So as you can see, it's beginning to look like a real mobile phone. You can see they are looking like a real mobile phone now. So now I believe my frame is set. Mind you, I didn't used to do all of this, but as I grow in my design, I intentionally want what I'm doing to represent what I'm working on. Hence why I am showing you guys this. I'm not saying it's compulsory for you to do this. I'm just showing you that you can also do it, basically. So now that this is set, I want to dive into my design, right? So again, I mentioned that the grid is there to guide me and all. But if you notice right now, this line is not touching here, and this is not touching here. And because that grid is my guide, I'm going in to adjust this. So I want to make sure it starts from here. And I want to also make sure this also starts from here. Oh, it's slightly beyond. Yeah. So now that this starts here, to maintain that balance, I am going to replace others to balance. Place to replace, all of them are balanced now. But looking at it now, I'm realizing this is not centered, and dynamic island is meant to be centered. So let me shift A is no. Oh, it is on auto. Okay. Okay. Let's see what I can do to it. No. I don't want my dynamic island to I need it to balance, so I'm going to put this in a frame and shift A as well. Then I'll drag this back. So I need it to just cover. Okay. So based on what I'm seeing on this my column, I know this is not centered because when you select this and when I select this, for example, and I look at it, 178 is not equally balanced, right? So what I do is I will take this and do my adjustments. Okay, now, so now I feel it's more centered now. Okay, this one is set to center. Okay. Yeah. So this is more centered now, and let me look. So, yeah. Okay, I believe I have the effect I want. Now that all of that is done, and the design will begin now. So remember, it's a fintech. My own page, I want it to be blue. I want my splash screen, I want it to be blank and all like that. So the background I'll be giving my splash screen would be that of the primary color. And So because of that, I'm taking this background away and I'm changing the colors to white. And just change to white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And for my I think I can position like this. Oh, okay. Okay. So I need to change this to also white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anyway, I am adjusting this to fit into this screen. This is where my logo is supposed to come. This position in the middle. And for me to get the middle, I will just use this. Align, center. So I'm going to change this to an image because let's assume that that's where my logo will go to. So I know my logo is coming here. By the time I generate a logo that I can use for it. Now coming to my onboarding screen, my first screen is the saving screen. So we're doing something simple here. I want this here. Okay, let's see how large this time. Not bad. So there's a plugin that says remove background, okay, I think this account doesn't have, I'm sorry, but where is this file? Let me look for the location of this file. I will open this project using another account. There are certain Figma features that I cannot find here. So I'm going to move this file. Let me move it to no. Oh boy. I can't find the project because there are certain features that is supposed to be. Oh, this is it now. Okay, let me see. The bulk theory, this is the river techniques, the temperature. Let me search. Okay, I have found the project. I'm moving the projects. I moved it, so let me use another account to open it. So because I've moved it to a particular project, and because my other account has access to that project, I'll be able to edit it using that account because this other account has more features and a couple of other things. Okay, let me reshare my screen. Sorry for the delay. Present something else. Okay, so let's wait for it to open. All right, yeah, this is an updated version. So going to my mobile, that's fine. Yep, voila, we are inside. Yeah. So coming here now, let me hide the grill. So you can see that I have made sure that my image does not go beyond this my grill sign here. So that's one. So I'm going to do Shift G on my keyboard to hide my grill. However, I have a little problem. My image background is not blending with my background I'm using. So I would come to this setting of Figma and I'm searching for, wait, why? Oh, wow, out of AI credit. That's interesting. When did Figma start counting AI credit? This is an interesting discovery. What? This is a shocking news. I didn't know Figma started counting AI credit. So there's limited amount of time I can use this. And I've used this feature a lot today. Oh wow. Oh wow. That is, I'm coming. Let me copy this to another file and see. Let me copy the image to another file and see if I can use it on that account. Okay, it's on another account. I found an account. I'll just share screen. I'll just share my screen generally because I think the way Figma has started doing this whole AI credit thing. I never knew they started that. I didn't know Figma started this whole AI credit thing. That is crazy. Anyway, so this is the feature I want to use, this remove background. So I'm going to click on that. I do not think all of this is done using AI credit though. Oh wow. Control X. So you see that the background is gone. I am going to now Control Exit. I'm going back to my file. Where's the file again? Okay. I would place to replace. Okay, voila. So you see that the background is gone. I have what I need to have. It's standing the way I want it to stand. So now I'm bringing in my button that I copied. So I need my button to be end to end. I don't need any of the icon. Okay, I need the text, but I don't need any of the icons for now. So I'm going to toggle them off. And now name these next. Right? So my buttons will be here. And right here, I just want to have like a bit of text. That will say, oops, let me detach it here. Yeah. I decided to move it a bit so that I can get my text. So I need a text that would say, for now, I'm using placeholder, but assuming I'm designing for somebody right now or to submit at all, I will go to GPT to generate like copies I can use, right? So big, bold copy will be here. I will come to my typography. Okay, I did not create typography, so I'm just going to reduce random size. So this will be a 32. I'm using a bold. So you see, because I don't have typography, I can't use a typography set. So I have my bold text here. Now I need another text. This would be a 16, and this would be a medium. Little explanation will be written here. Again, if I was writing, I would use more text, but with limited time, I don't have the time to go and oops. I don't have the time to go and check for updates. Okay, so let's assume I have this. Okay, I want to play it center align. Good. I feel like I want to have additional more text. So I'm gonna go with this. I'll put it at center align. I'll give it my text color. I'll give this also my text color. Under text. And then, because you see the way I'm fighting with measurements, I'll just select this two, Shift A, put in auto layout. And because I want it to balance with this, I'll select this to Shift A, they're in auto layout, right? Now, because I also want them to balance with this image, Shift A, auto layout. So now, all I need to do is adjust my spacing. The spacing I have here is 51, which I do not like. So I'm going to add a spacing of 56. Yeah. I don't need left and right because this has already been added. So the next spacing I want to handle is here. Spacing here is 26. It's not following my spacing system. I'm giving it a spacing of 24. Now for this text, right? I needed to give it this effect. So it has balanced like this. And it's for me. Now the spacing here is what? Exactly 120, but I want it to be connected to my, that's 100. Yeah, 100 is fine. I'm supposed to adjust this. Okay, so this is 100. So this is not touching this frame. You can see that there's a bit of spacing here, which I do not like. So I'm going to set it to fill. So it's going to balance, and this font is not set to center. So because I'm using center alignment, I'll adjust that to the center and this. Now, because I know that it's 3 splash screen I'll be showing, and I want my users to easily know that it's 3. So somewhere around here, I will be adding an additional element there. So this element will be, let me give it a color of green. And radius color of like 64. Now, because it's not just one I need multiple. I need about, okay. So this one, I'll give it a lighter shade of green. So I'll select the two, Shift A, auto layout, I'll align it back, and I'll give them a spacing of 4. So because it's 3 splash screens, so I'll turn this into 3. The spacing here and here is too far from each other, so I'll adjust this. I'll put it in the auto layout, and then I'll change it from 56 to 24. 24 seems far, so let's try 16. Yeah, 16 works for this. Now, yeah, because of the adjustment I'm doing, I'll change this from 56 to a 48. Yeah, now I'm back to my normal set. So now this is my first screen. So whatever copy I'm writing here has to relate to what this image is saying. By the time I'm researching to do that, right? Now, because I know that I'll do something similar here, I would select this Control C and I'll come here and Control V. So I know here it will change to a copy, but now the position of this will be changing to the middle. So I'll change it to the middle. And I'm changing this my image. So to change that image, let me find an image that I'll be using. Okay, let's assume I'm using this one. Control C. Okay, rather. I need to use it. Okay, Control X. Then I'll come to the middle here. Place to replace. However, it is tall and not the same exactly. So, sorry. V. So I'm going to attach this now. Okay. It needs to be the same height as this one. So this height is 457. So I know I need to make the height of this one to 457. So I'll change this to 457. You can see now they're on the same row. The reason why there's no need for me to remove background of this one is because right from the start, the background of this particular one is white. So there's no need for me to stress to remove background, right? So that works for me. Now, I'll copy again, Control C, and I'll put it inside this, Control V. Now, this will no longer say next. This will now say get started. So when a user click on it, it will take them to the page started. It's take them to the page where they sign up, right? And then I have to change this as well to the last position to show final step. So you can see how this goes from these two. So when I'm prototyping, for example, you see how we go. I'll do a prototype of this too, so that you get to see how prototype also works, how prototyping works as well. So the next screen, let's now assume the next screen is an home screen. Now, this is my home screen. My home screen comes says, oh, we've not finished designing the second one. This image is what we are using there. And okay, scale down. Bringing it Control X. Bringing it in here. So I need to be touch it. 457, right? 457. Okay. Now there's a bit of an issue because of this background. So it means I need to remove the background. So I'm copying this. I'm going to the account I have access to remove background. And I will remove background. Okay, background has been removed. Control X. I'm going back to my file. There's a remove background website separately. Again, because of time, I'm not trying to do all of that, right? So And technically, normally, if I'm actually designing for this product, I would not be using this particular image. I don't like the phone mock-up here. But for, again, just learning purposes, for you to see how you can design with consistency of spacing, using your 8 spacing system, see how it's coming together right now. So now let's assume we are designing the home page here. So elements that are usually going to be on my home page are basically my nav bar. And to design my nav bar, I need a frame at the bottom here. Oh, I think I made a mistake on something. This my frame is not supposed to be, my stroke is not supposed to be an inside stroke. It's supposed to be an outside stroke. Yeah, outside. Huh. Now that it's outside, I'll be able to do what I need to get done. Yes. So, okay. This is my nav bar. The background of my nav bar is white. Let me bring my nav bar here so that you can see what it looks like too. I'm naming these navs. Right? And just to be faster, I'm just going to let's copy this. Okay. So I'll be changing this to man ropes. And my size would be a 12. I won't use anything lower than that. I'm giving this home. And yeah, my color will be my green. That would be my active state. So this has to be green. And because it's currently active, it has to be bold. So let's start. And this is okay. Let me look for an icon. I think there's an icon here. So before I go and change, I just want to copy the icon. Ctrl+C, and then I'll hide it back. I'll come here. Because the icon is white, so you won't see it. So I'm changing it back to green. So for this home, now I will come and search for civil sex icon here. It's already active. So I'll search for home. Now I see the options, different options of home. Which one do I want? I think I want this one. So it has changed. I don't want the outline version. I want it to be bold when it's on home. I change the color back to my primary color. So I have my home. Oh, why is the scale? Okay, so I shift this into. Now I am giving this a represent. Wait, this is 0 first. What's going on? Oh, it's 38 by 38. Okay. 24 by 24. Yeah. So this frame is supposed to be 8. So So this is supposed to be odd. Supposed to also be an 8. 8 upside down. This is supposed to be actual odd. Okay. So I have this set. Now I'm going to have our menu is home, savings, and let's say AI, let's say transaction, and then profile. So I have 5. So I'm selecting this 5. I'll put in auto layout, shift A. I will set it to auto here. And this main frame, I would give it to auto layout as well. I will give it, remember our padding on the left and right, margin on the left and right is 4, so this will be 24 as well. And this, it says auto. Okay, this works. So now it's time to change this to, so this is savings, right? This savings. Mind you, all of this will go will not be in active state. So I'm changing them to this is the color I'm changing them to. Savings. I'll look for another icon to represent savings. So I'm going to use, let's say, let me see what it's bringing. It's not bringing anything. Okay. Under finance or money, under money. Okay. I'm representing its savings. Obviously, I will have had time to find a better icon. Two tools, which I do not like. Text 3, text 3, text 3, text 3. Yeah. So that's savings. Okay, another thing I forgot to add is I'm changing this to medium back because it's only the active one that needs to be bold. So savings, this is right. Should I call it transaction? Let's call it transaction, sure. Oh no. AI. Yeah. That's what I'm calling that. And this will be, let's assume this is history. I feel like transaction will be too long. History. This will be history and this will be profile. So I'll be changing this icon to user. So because the profile, I want something like this, so I'll use this. Outline. Yeah. I'll change the color to back to my color. I'm changing this to this. For history, I want something that represents like receipts. So I am going to type receipts. Yeah. So receipt that they wrote something. Okay. This is it. And outline, change color to the color I'm using now. And AI help because lately AI has been represented with star. So let's see the star. The star. Okay, let me just use this to represent AIL, right? And outline. I'll change this to this. Why for this? I need to change it to offline. Okay, so we have our nav set. However, it's not complete because it's not just assuming you're designing the full app. It's not only home that needs to be active. All of it needs to be active. So I will, and because I might need to change something at certain point in time, let me give my bottom here 16, so everything is balanced. So now I would turn this into a component. You can see components here, create components. Now that is a component, I want to create other variants. So when I click on this, I will name this navbar. And here I will name it savings. Because I want to show how savings will be in its active mode. Why I will name this home. Right? And for this savings, in this place, home becomes regular. Home becomes regular. And it's changed back to 9. So you can see the consistency of what I'm doing. So because this is the new active state that I want to show, I would click on this and change it to bold, change the color to the green primary. I will change this to bold as well. And I will change it to the green primary. So you can see now I have a component for this. So like that, I would create another component for help. I'll create another one for history and another one for profile. So I'll name this one AIL. I would name this one history. I'm not saying this menu I use is the menu you should use in your own when you're designing. Again, I am just showing you ways on how you can do this thing. Whatever naming I'm putting here, it is not related to what you're doing. After you've done your research, decide your number of menu, decide on how you want to, what you want to name, and the icons you want to use to represent that. So this is going back
This is
to,
not bad.
sorry?
I see this thing you are doing is not bad.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that don't try and say, okay, you want to do exactly the one I have done. That's what I'm saying, basically. So this goes to medium, back. See me even stress itself. I can just come here, Control C. Place to replace. So now is this one and this one that needs to be active. So I'm changing their color to green and press enter. Let's go change bold. What else is missing? Okay. So what else is missing? What else is missing? I'm not going to allow me creative one after the other. So this will go to bold. So this will go to bold. So the only reason I'm able to switch this icon is because the icon pack I'm using, that's Busat, which I added to part of your resources, already has this thing. So it's easier for me to use. That's why I enjoy using Busat. Busat gives you options of icon style you can use. That's why I prefer using Busat. So now my navbar is set. My navbar component is set. So I'll assuming I'm arranging my work, this will go to my component stuff. Now, I said I want to design home. So I'm selecting this Control C. and I'm bringing this into here where it will be my home page. So see the use of gray that I'm using. If you notice, I did not use black 00 in any of my design. You can see how everything is appealing to your eye. Don't go, if we do not use any color that will come and blind my eye when I'm doing this thing for you guys. Okay, I think we have a problem with our variable that I created here. Oh, see me. I think for color style, there is no white or black. There is no white. So I'm going to create color and I'll name it white. FFF. So I'll come to my token here under text. Where's that white? Okay, see white here. And also my background. I use gray 50 and not white. So I'll select white for it. And this one is supposed to be the gray. Okay, gray. Okay, fine. I'll go back to my file. Okay. Now I have my plain white background again. So you can see how now you notice how my navbar has blended my background. However, I want something to be able to show me that okay, this is where my navbar stops. So I'm going to come here. I'll select all my navbar as well. I'll now add a stroke on top. So I'll come to stroke. I'll click plus. Inside, you see that all the stroke is 4 corner, top, bottom, left, right. I don't need it 4 corner. I just need it in specific space. My stroke level is okay. Is 1. Okay, that works. So now I'll come to this setting here. This setting here. Now so it's showing all if you want it on top or bottom or left or right. Now I want only on top, so it's switched to top. Now it has switched to top, I need to change it to color that I need. I'll be giving it like a stroke from my strokes color. Let's see. Now I won't see the effect here because of this background, but I'll be able to see the effect in my design. Okay, now, yeah, the color is not bad, but let me see if I can make it lighter. Let me see if I can make it lighter. So I know I selected stroke 2. Okay, so stroke 2 it is. Stroke 3 it is. Stroke 3 is lighter. You see, there's that subtle look that let me know that, okay, that's where my navbar ends. So I know that my designing area is here and here. Now for my own page, remember when I was sourcing for inspiration, I was saying, oh, certain things I like. I mentioned that I liked this, especially the way this home page was designed. So let's try and create this upper part. Not everything here, just the way the background was used here and this bottom part was used. So I'll recreate something like this, right? So I am going to do that now. I would come in here and I grab. I'm drawing my frame. You see that throughout my design, I've not used anything rectangle. I've just been using auto layouts and frames. You have no business using this thing in your design. Okay. Now, because I know there's something blocking this home indicator here, and bring it to the front. Again, I will take out the background, right? And this needs to be white because that background is white. So yeah, the only one remaining the way it is this one. Okay, now the curve bottom here needs to curve. So I need to give it a radius corner, but it's limited. So it's not everything I want it to curve, just the bottom. So I'm giving this bottom 16. 16 looks small, so I'll give 32. Yeah, 32 works. I'll give this to also 32. See, I have my curve now, right? Now, for me now, I don't need profile up anymore. I just need a bell icon here, right? I need a bell icon here. So, because I need bell icon, for easy access of bell, I'll copy this icon here, Control C, Control C. I'll come here. I'm putting my icon here. Now, the icon needs to be outlined and white. So first thing I'll be changing is the color to white. However, I don't want it to just stand here alone. So I'll be putting it in something that looks like a circle. So I'll draw a frame again. I'll give it fill. Let me change it to, I'll give the background like white for now. But no, I'll try not give it white. Let me select a lighter version of this screen. Yeah. And this will be 40 as well. And I'm giving it a radius corner of 1,100 so I can get my circle shape. I want it to be like 60. Yeah. Then I take this, I'll put it inside. I'll put this into auto layouts and make it centered. Now I need to reduce this. So I'll be changing this to 14. 14 is still slightly, let's see, so 12. Okay, 12 works. But now I need to change this to a bell notification. Okay, bell. Okay. I think I like this one. I'm gonna use it. I want it to be, I think I want it to be outlined, so I'll leave it to remain outlined, but the color will change to green. So this is my notification bell, which will be here. You know, now I don't know which grid is there, so I'll activate my grid back. So Shift G for my grid to come back, so that I can measure where this is staying. Okay, now it's staying at the right place. Now on this hand, since it's an home page, I'm doing welcome, something, da 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 da. So because I already have a big text here before, I will just, okay, there's one here. I'll just take this, bring it here. I'll reduce this to a, let's say 18. I'm reducing to this 18, and I'm saying, well, welcome for luxury. Oh, wait. How are you doing today? And hello. Okay. So I have my big text here. This will be reduced back to, first the text will be white. and this will be reduced back to a 16. I'll not go beyond 16. But this will be back to regular. So there's proper weight and hierarchy. This will be, yeah. So now for this to stay very well together, I will reduce this and take this to Shift A. I put them in auto layouts and I move them up here. Now, even though it's in auto layout, I have not given it adequate spacing. So I'm going to give it a spacing of 8. Remember again, my spacing system is 8. But now that I'm seeing the 8, it might be too much. So now I will reduce like a 4. Okay, now let me give it 2. Okay, 2 words. Now this is here. So you see it's showing 23, meaning that's wrong. My line is 24. So I need to zoom in and see. So now what is this? 22. How is that possible? Oh, okay, I see where the problem is. You see, when you zoom in, this did not come towards the end. So I'm wondering that why is my, and this went beyond the line. So this is supposed to give me, now this is giving me 26, which is wrong. Yes. You see that 1, 2 is missing. You see that this is calculation 1, 2. Now I'll have my 24 back. Yeah, I have my 24, which is the margin I set. Now this now, when I return it back, it should give me my 24 now. Yeah, 24. However, I still feeling like this is not touching it. So let me select this and figure out what's wrong. Okay, I see where the problem is. Okay, I think that's the nature of this font. It gives inline spacing, it's where the line spacing is. And this is also here. So, but yeah, I'm good to go with this. So now, for me to make sure that these two of them are in the same line, I'll select both again and I'll do Shift A to put them together. So now they'll be properly aligned, right? And you see that my auto layer has put it in the middle. Now, the gap between this and this, I need it to be something within, let me carry this one out. Okay. I need something between 16, 24, and all like that. And this is 18. So I'm going to do 1 to 16. So you see how my mask is matching in this thing like this. Okay, that is set. Next point, I just want to put the what is it called? The amount balance here and all. So because I want to do that, I'm going to reduce this slightly. Now, yeah, again, I need a text. So I just duplicate and carry. I carry what I need. Now let's say this will now be much bigger size. I'll probably give it like, let's see. Let's see, it's too big. 48 seems big. So 30 it is. So let's do 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 6, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, dot 0, 0. How much have we written down? How many billions of naira? Now I have my naira figure. So this is the total amount in my wallet. Just remember something. There's supposed to be a general wallet, but hey, let's continue what we are doing. So I think I need this text as well. I need one text here. So I'll bring this. I'll call this wallet balance. And I need an eye icon here. So I'm going to fill an icon here. I'll bring it here. I'll change the color to a white. And I'll call this eye. Okay. I have my high icon. I have my wallet balance. Shift A. Now the spacing is, I'm giving a spacing of 8 between the eye icon and the wallet balance. And this Shift A auto layout, this needs to be in the center. So the spacing, I want to give the spacing of 24, and should be something there like this. So for it to balance very well, I'll put it with this one, auto layout Shift A. Now I give it a spacing of 40. Now that I have this, 24 seems too much a bit here. So let's try 16. 16 works better. So now one thing that is missing here, I want you guys to be able to copy the account number. So so this comes here. I want this to be accounts. Let's say 01 84 0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the way Nigeria account number is usually written, and I want them to be able to copy. So I am going to give this a copy icon. So you see how I'm using icon a lot. So I'll give this a copy icon, and I'll give it like this. Well, I want this to be more prominent, right? So I'll put it in Shift A. I'll give it a spacing, a padding of 4 across board. Or let me give it a padding of 8. Then I'll give it for radio for now. Then the fill, I will use my light primary color for the fill. So my text color will become green, right? Now, and I want this to be bold. Right, okay, let me just set this to all. Yeah, well, this needs to be centered, aligned. Spacing is 8. Now this is this centered. So 16, 16, I have my wallet balance. So I can decide to change the layout. So now this is the layout coming to my head. By tomorrow I sleep, I might decide to rearrange and change my layout. But for now, practice purpose, this is the layout coming to my head, and this is the layout I'm going for, right? That way now you can see user can see their account number, they can decide to close their wallet balance. Notification bell is here. There'll be an indicator that shows when there's notification. So I have this section done, but not necessarily done. I still want to let the background be somehow. So let me do Shift G. So the background feels very, very plain, nothing going around. I want to add some designs to it. I can come to Figma community now, and search for, let's say, patterns. I'll search for patterns just to see any. One thing with Figma community always has good resources. You even see samples of designs and all like that. Elements you can use in your designs, different type of things. So you see all these, as me I want to use something bullish, I'll come and pick from it here, like. But I think I want something that gives me that grid vibe. So I saw something grid here. Open. So I think something that I like here. Let me open it. Oh wow, it's already 3:30. I hope you guys are following up and I'm not confusing you with anything.
We are following now, but please, let's call it a day.
Okay, good. So this is the grid and pattern. Again, on your own, search for your own resources, search for what you want to preserve your stuff with, how you want it to look like, and stuff like that. So yeah, these are possible grids I can use. And I just need something nice for my cards. Right? I think I'm liking this. But I'm not sure yet. Let me see. See how selecting grids that you want to use is not entirely easy. Okay, let me try this and see how it will look like. Control C. Come in here now and I'm pasting it, Control V. Okay. See where I paste something. See where it is appearing. Okay. Now scale it down to where I need it to be. Okay. Okay. It will still need some kind of glow, but there's no time for me to go and search for glow. Let me send it to the back. Yes. That is. Oh, where is it? No. No. Where did it go to? Okay. Supposed to be inside this thing, not outside. So I'll drag it inside. Now that it's inside, then I'll send it to the back. Okay. So the color, funny enough, the color is giving that yellow that we are using. So not bad. The radial is not bad. Okay. Anyway, if I was doing something more, I'll most likely put some glow to give the card extra pizzazz, right? So I'm reducing the opacity of that thing to 50%. 50 is not working. Let me try 20. Yeah. So I'm reducing the opacity to 20. Yeah, it feels 10. So my background is not plain. It has some sort of elements going on around it in the center, and that's that. So I have that done. Now let's just say, yeah, I want to create my icons with this thing. So I'm going to steal something from here. Yeah, let me just. Okay. Now I want to show actions of maybe, let's assume, send, right? Receive. And I think I need one more. That one more button would be, let's say, pay bill. But it's student by recharge card. So let's say airtime, right? So I have these 4 icons. I would select 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift A. Now again, I would be activating my grid. Shift G. So I need it to be end to end, right? So I will select this and this, Shift A, and for this one, I will give it a margin of 24. So I start where it's supposed to start, and I will make it fill the container. And so now for each of this one, I would, so let's say for this, right? Then this is 57, this is 50, no, not height, rather, 61. Okay. So I am going to change all the width to 61 because I want all of them to have same feel and same effects, right? So this one, I'll give it a feel for one of my accent colors, right? So let's say I want it to be pink. So I'm using the light pink background. My text inside will be the dark pink. And I'm not changing icon because time has gone. I can't start searching for icon right now. I need the gold one. Yeah. Okay. And again, a radius corner for each of them. I want it to be like 8. That's the radius corner one. So this send is this. My receive, money has come inside. It needs to be green. So I'll maintain green for this. And the fill will be light green. Then for this paying bills, I would give it a blue. So I'll use the blue accent color. Okay. And the background fill will also be blue. Right? And this will also be bold. This will also be bold. For this, I would give it bold, right? Now for this one, I'll give it the purple. Okay. Because I didn't have purple before, so I'll just do it from here. Then background would be okay. So let me shift G and take out. So you can see how accent colors have been used here. And it's not everything that will be green, 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 green in my work. You see how no matter the size of the word inside, they are all equal. Yes.
Um, sorry to cut you short.
Okay.
The last time we spoke about grid and all, we are like saying maybe you should not the thing we are putting should not exceed the grid. But I'm noticing this green frame is outside that gutter or outside the margin. So
Yeah,
is it
the background is outside the margin. However, if you notice that the elements inside the background, they are not outside the margin. Because this is saying that's the background of my screen in that place. Your margin has nothing to do with your background in the sense that it is background. For example, my splash screen, the entire background is green. I won't say because margin is 24, my background color will not touch there. No.
okay?
When it comes to background color can feel everywhere. It's just like here, white is our background color. We did not say because there's margin, we will not put white in this place. Sure, you understand?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in this upper part, we are treating the green as background. But when you notice, no element cross that. If you
Yes.
come and check this thing here, and you click on it, see that it's 24. If you click on this 24, when you check this is touching the end, but the element inside here to that end is what? 24. So you can
Okay.
see how I have maintained that spacing of 24. Now the space I gave in between here, I'm giving it 32 because I wanted enough breathing space here. Do you understand? Now,
Yeah.
if I feel like, okay, by the time I use Figma Mirror on my phone, and I realize that these buttons, they might look small, and looking at them now, somehow I'm having that feeling that this thing might be small. This is what I intend to do. I'll select this and this together, Shift A, and select this. And I'm not saying this is small right now. Let me just duplicate it so that for practice purpose, I'll select this and this. I'm just saying that these are different layout styles I could say I want to try. Then I put this down and each one of them fill the container, and the spacing again as usual is a 24. Now that it's 24 and I want them to be big. So what I would be doing is I will expand. Normally, I will use the size of what is it called? My spacing will remain the same. Wait, let me control Z. I was supposed to scale like that. So let's assume I want button to be here and here all the way through. So this will be 0. Sorry, this has to be a 0. Now that this is a 0, so these two will also fill and also center, right? So this looks slightly bigger, and I would try and do the same for this. What is it? 172 by 81. So I'll do 172 by 81. Same thing with this. I'll just fill it. Fill. Uh, 172. Okay, it's still there. So now you see how this is weird. There's so much space in between here, but tiny space here. That's tell you how things look like when they are not properly balanced. So I am changing the spacing here to 832. Now that I've changed it to 832, I need this to balance, right? So I'll change this to fill as well and change this to fill as well. So that way they'll balance, but because I need more height, so I will give it a height of 16. 16 would not work. Let me see, 20. Yeah, 20 gives me what I need to give, right? So I'm going to do the same for this as well. I'll give them a height of 20 and I'll set everything to be fill. Sorry, fill. Spacing here is texture. No, wrong spacing. Spacing here is texture. So this should be 180 by 81. This should be 180 by 81. So I have the same. Now I'll change this also to 32. You see how I balanced everything? But now I'm looking at it. 32 is quite too much. So I will reduce it back to 16. And also this one back to 16. So you can see, so this is where you see as I'm creating elements already, you are seeing reasons why, okay, what will work, what will not work. And here now, let me duplicate this. So now I will have one method. So it's either, so you see how I have two options. And you notice how there's consistency in my spacing. You see that this is no longer weird because there's same spacing horizontally and same spacing vertically. All of these elements are centered, and I can now go and check, okay, if I'm trying to decide which layout should I go to and I'm confused, this is when, okay, I'll now ask other people that, okay, which option do you prefer? Or I go to GPT and say, okay, break it down. Which option do you prefer? Da, 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 da. You can see. Now, let's now assume I want to, this is where, okay, I have another card coming in here. So this is where I show my transaction history. Again, I have to activate my grid so that I do not go beyond what I'm drawing. So you can see, thank God I activated it. I will adjust it. Now that I've adjusted it, this and this, select this and this, shift. Now because there's what I want to create with this, with what's going on here. Okay, it needs to be in the center. Now it's in the center, I need to adjust the spacing. Spacing I gave here was what? 32. So the spacing here needs to be 32. You see the consistency. I'm maintaining the spacing size I'm using. So space between this and this is 32, space between this and this is 32. Now, what I want to use this is for my transaction history. So I want to give this soft stroke. So I'm giving it stroke 3. And I'm giving it a radius corner of 16. Yeah. And my stroke needs to be supposed to be and shift it back. Okay, this is really where it's supposed to be. So shift G. So you can see that there's something here, but now that I'm looking at it, the stroke might be too light. I need to be slightly more visible. So I'll give it a stroke 2 instead. Yeah, this is perfect. So now inside here, I can now do the transaction history thing I want. So I want each transaction history, oh, sorry. Now, before transaction history, I want to assume that the user has not done some elements and all. So let me just now, okay. Now I need to send. Okay. Now that I'm looking at it, that is too much for spacing. So let me give you a spacing of 24 instead. Okay. I see that my last element is going inside my navbar, like you typically do in your mobile app, right? Now, I'm just creating this down because I know these are what I want to put in my elements and all. So remember, I changed that to 32. So I'm changing this back to also 24. Okay. Now I do the thing that I want to do. I think here it's almost 4 o'clock. I think I'll have to stop here because I have another meeting by 4. But basically, right, you guys can see how creating stuff with intentionality with your spacing. You see how I'm using my soft grayscale, my accent color. It's not just green I'm using in my design. I've used other touch of other colors. I'm not splashing green every single places. And not even in this my illustration here, you can see a bit of the golds and all. And whatever elements I happen to peradventure, probably my transaction history, this will have been the size of card they will go for and everything like that. That's the only thing now.
Sorry, Fola. Regarding the transaction history, is there a way we can just put it in a single frame and it might not really have that 24 space and just attach it to this screen, then create a separate card for maybe other elements you want to put?
So, except like now, the plan is assuming there was more time for me to design. It's only 2 transaction history that will show you. Just 1, 2. And it's not as if I'm putting it inside this card or restricting it. I'm just using this to measure my space.
Okay.
Because I did not do low fidelity before. So this is me doing low fidelity at the same time converting it to high fidelity immediately. You understand? So I'm just using this to measure space I have left for different elements I want to put. So in this history, because I have history, this history page is where you see the full transaction history. But in this one page, maybe the latest 2 that will appear here, nothing more. Because I don't want to overwhelm the home page. Because I might have other elements I want to show here and all like that.
The question I'm actually asking is that latest 2 now, the spacing between both the 2 tab, must it correspond with the other spacing that you used in dividing the
yes, it has to balance. It has to be the same spacing. It shouldn't be weird. You see, no matter what I put here, no matter what I end up putting in this place, they need to balance so that you have that good effect. And part of what I'm saying is, I think on Friday I'll work on prototyping this. Part of what I'm saying is, if I click on this and let me click on the first screen, and I come here and I preview. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay. If I was viewing this on my phone, I'd have been seeing the effect and the difference and all of these things. Then now, see this. You see that in a more bold, closer version, you see that there's a need that balance, that equal spacing gives that balance effect. You can check any of your app on your phone. If you look at their home page, you will notice that the spacing between all the different type of elements they put together is actually the same and is well balanced. If you do not do that, your design will not have that consistency that it's supposed to have. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So consistency is part of the key things when you're designing a designer. So always have that at the back of your mind. So I think that will be all for today. I believe you've seen how I use my auto layout, how I use my grid, how I put my hierarchy in terms of, by looking at this, the first thing you first see is the money. Next thing you see the account number you can copy. Next thing you see is this. Based on the way I did my hierarchy and balance of what I deem fit important, right? So when you're designing too as well, ensure you have that in your design process. You can see how I did not do too much ceremony in my navbar, and it still looks clean. It looks straightforward. You were able to know which one is active at any point in time when you click on it. So you can see that consistency. So also ensure you maintain that as well. So I'm looking forward to see what you guys will be drawing in your house. On Friday, I will touch on prototyping, so you can see how little prototyping can work and add effect to your design, not like that. So on that note, today's class is coming to an end for both of us. I hope you guys have learned one or two from this.
Yeah, thank you.
You are
Thank you.
welcome.